Hi, this is What You Waiting For. And today I wanted to go over my emergency 911 folder. And I actually have two of them. These are not the actual folders, but it's to give you an idea. And I'm going to do it in two sections. I'm going to do a bug in folder and a bug out folder. And the first one I'm going to do is bug in. And this is an emergency 911 folder. And what it is if something happens to me or my husband or your wife or whatever, this folder is our lifeline. This folder is all the information that we know. It's if something would happen to me and I was not with my kids or my family, if I was at work when the emergency happened, or I was incapacitated for some reason, this folder represents all my knowledge to be able to help my children, to be able to help my family. And anyone that picks this folder up will have the same knowledge I have. Well, hopefully. The bug in folder I have, and I have this on the bug out folder too, but the bug in folder I have one of those slip ones where you can slip in on a folder. I made copies of important papers, birth certificates, social security numbers, driver's license, copies of insurance information, copies of passports, put them in a Ziploc baggie, and that's what this is, so that they're waterproof. I duct taped it, and you can see that's not mostly, it's to keep a little of the water out, but it's mostly so that if I throw it around, I'm not going to lose these important papers. And these are all copies, not the original. And in my bug in, first of all, I do food storage, long-term food storage, in case of an emergency. So in my bug in, I would have my inventory. It would be information for me or my children. It tells what ingredients I have, how many, where it's located, and when it expires. My children can pick this up and know exactly where my extra rice is. My kids can pick this up and know exactly where I put the extra TP or closet, how much I have on hand. And this is important because in a crisis mode, your children, or even your husband, your wife, is not going to remember everything. But I want to know if I'm not here, or if I'm incapacitated, if I'm physically unable to help them, they can help themselves. It also includes recipes for the food storage. It has all of my recipes. My older girls, I have a 11-year-old Boy Scout, 14-year-old Senior Girl Scout, 16-year-old Ambassador Girl Scout. They know how to cook. We cook and eat in food storage the same things that we cook every week. They know how to cook the rice, the beans, but just in case, because it is an emergency, I have that information here. All that information, exactly what they need, how to cook it. I don't want the kids second guessing themselves. I want them to say, yeah, that's the recipe, that's what I need to do. I also include in the bug in our plan. It could be, for example, we have a menu plan, and this is what we did our food storage off of. If we know that we're going to have pancakes once a week, they know what they need to use it for, how many times, how many it can serve, how many times they can eat this a week. It's just our plan. It can also include contact information. It also includes information about out-of-state contacts, in-state contacts, maps of the neighborhood, maps of our area, maps of the state. We also have directions for the supplies, meaning how to turn off the water, how to turn off the gas, how to start the generator, how to start our camp stove, what items we need, what kind of tools we need for certain things. And that would also be in here. We want anyone that is picking up this book to be able to know these things, because I might know them, my husband might know them, but if we're not here, are the kids going to remember where the turn-off valve is for the water, how to turn it off, where the tools are, where the shovel's located? That's what's in here. I also keep information, the pamphlets from all of the items, the instruction pamphlets for our camp stove, our single burner stove, our propane items. We keep the directions in here if it needs to, if they need to do any type of work on it, or if I need to do any type of work on it. I won't remember we have so many different items, where they're all located. First aid information, not just basic, but a little bit more in depth. Will my kids remember, to boil the water? I have that under reference. I have it in here. If I'm not here, they know to boil water for 5 minutes. Or how to do the chlorine treatment, how much to put per gallon. I even put in here, we have an eyedropper, 5 milliliters, it goes by milliliters, is equal to 1 teaspoon, about 1 teaspoon, to give them an idea of how to do this. Also in here I've included things about food storage, how long they last, if they have any of these things, not to use them, if they're rusted, don't use them, if they're bulging, don't use them. My kids are not going to remember all this. It's just checklists that they can go through. This is just basically for bugging out, and I'm going to go over the bug out. But I just cannot stress enough how important this is. Because if I am at work and my children are at home, or if I get hurt, I want my kids to be able to survive. My children, their friends, if they're over here, family members, my husband, and we're in a weird situation. I'm actually the one that does most of the emergency preparedness, not my husband. So I actually understand how most of the camp stoves and everything work better than he does. So it's not just to teach the kids, because you can teach them once or twice. But in an emergency situation, they're not going to remember. They're going to be second guessing themselves. And you always want to have the kids prepared. You always want to teach them those skills. But you have to make sure that you have a backup. Because sometimes with all that information out there, even if they've done it, 3 or 4 times, they're going to forget some things. I know I'm going to forget some things. So it's important to have this. Everybody knows where it is. I put emergency 911. They know to grab this whenever something happens. And the next video, I'm going to talk more about the bug out folder. But this would be nice to make sure you put it in one of those large, they have the 2-gallon, the real big Ziploc bags now. I would put it in there to keep everything dry. But this is important. This could be saving your life one day. This could be your life.